Attention! Ferrari reignites hope for 2025. The SF25 surprises in Bahrain and Leclerc starts second thanks to a scandal with Mercedes. Are we witnessing the rebirth of the prancing horse? Here we tell you everything they haven't told you. Qualifying for the 2025 Bahrain Grand Prix started normally, but everything changed radically in Q2. A red flag momentarily halted the session after a minor incident on the track. However, what seemed like a strategic pause ended up turning into a bombshell for Mercedes. In an unexpected and seemingly desperate move, George Russell and youngster Kimi Antonelli left the pit lane before the green light was officially enabled. This, according to FIA regulations, constitutes a direct violation of the sporting regulations. The result was immediate and devastating. Penalties for both drivers that delayed them on the official grid. Russell, initially second, dropped to third, while Antonelli, who had achieved one of his best qualifying positions since his debut, was relegated to fifth. This penalty not only altered Mercedes' strategy for the race, but also directly benefited Ferrari. Charles Leclerc, who had finished third on the timesheets, moved up to second. This jump gave him a clear runway into turn 1 and could redefine the course of his season from the very first race. But the most shocking aspect wasn't the benefit to Ferrari, but Mercedes' silence following the penalty. Neither Toto Wolff nor the technical team issued any immediate statements. Cameras captured tense moments in the Mercedes pit box, with serious faces, crossed glances, and a complete lack of communication with the press. Some analysts began to suggest that it was an internal communication error between the pit wall and the drivers, but others don't rule out a risky maneuver hoping to avoid traffic or gain time on a circuit where the margin is minimal. The truth is that this incident ignited social media. In less than an hour, the hashtag #MercedesFail was trending in multiple countries. Fans, torn between frustration and mockery, were quick to compare the penalty to other past controversies involving the German team, questioning whether these types of errors are no longer isolated, but part of a worrying pattern. And while Mercedes grappled with the consequences, Ferrari began to rethink its approach to the race. With Leclerc in second place, the landscape changed completely. Not only because of the strategic improvement, but also because of the psychological blow it represents for the Brackley team to start the season with such a visible error, on a day where pure pace is no longer enough to compete. This scandal not only changed the grid, it also exposed internal fissures in a team that, for years, was synonymous with pinpoint precision. Is Mercedes losing its touch? Or was it simply an isolated oversight amid the pressure to remain competitive in the new technical era? The 2025 Bahrain Grand Prix kicked off with a question no one expected. Had Mercedes lost control? During preseason, Ferrari left clues. But it was in Bahrain that it showed its true colors. The SF25 appeared on track with an update that many are already calling its secret weapon. The key piece, a new aerodynamic floor design, modified not only to increase downforce but also to address one of the team's Achilles heels in 2024, rear axle instability. The first impressions came from FP1. The car proved more consistent in medium corners, with much more neutral behavior exiting slow corners. But it was in FP2, under the demanding temperatures of Bahrain, that the true potential of the new SF25 was put to the test. While several teams suffered from thermal tire wear, Ferrari managed to extend runs on medium tires without losing any alarming pace. Of course, not everything was perfect. Speaking after the session, Leclerc admitted that the car is still struggling to adapt to the ideal balance when the track exceeds 30 degrees. In the driver's own words, the car has potential, but finding the sweet spot is difficult in these conditions. Sector 3 of the circuit was once again a weak point. In slow corners, especially between turns 12 and 14, Ferrari continues to lose between 3 and 5 tenths per lap to McLaren. It is there, where traction and aerodynamic efficiency make the difference, that Oscar Piastri earned his pole position. But even so, Leclerc was just 0.334 thousandths behind the Australian, posting a 1 minute and 30.175 seconds in Q3, a time that would have been unthinkable just 2 months ago. Beyond the timesheets, the big revelation lies in the way the SF25 operates. For the first time in over a year, Ferrari was able to run lower off the ground without experiencing bouncing. This not only improves airflow under the car but also reduces understeer, allowing for more aggressive driving without compromising tire life. From the pit stop, Frédéric Vasseur expressed confidence, but with caution. He stated that the team still needs to fully understand how the car responds in race conditions. However, one advantage was clear. Ferrari kept an extra set of medium tires. A tactical decision that could give them a window of opportunity in their strategy, allowing them to extend the first leg of the race while their rivals are forced to take cover prematurely. In short, the SF25 is not yet the dominant car in the paddock, but it is, for the first time in a long time, a weapon that can fight. In the right hands and with a precise strategy, Ferrari can threaten even the favorites. The question now is whether this improvement will be consistent or only effective on circuits with characteristics like Bahrain's. Are we witnessing a real evolution or an isolated flash of performance? The season is just beginning, but what the SF25 showed on its debut cannot be ignored. In Formula One, a fast car isn't enough. The real game is decided when the lights go out, and every decision from the pit lane can turn a sure victory into an unexpected defeat. Ferrari knows this, and in Bahrain, it deployed a strategy that could become a masterpiece. From Friday onwards, the technical team demonstrated a different approach. While others focused on fast laps, Ferrari focused on long runs. What seemed like a conservative decision concealed a clear commitment, saving an extra set of medium tires for Sunday. On a track where degradation is brutal and the asphalt acts like sandpaper on the compounds, having fresh tires can be the equivalent of having 10 extra horsepower at the end of the race. The choice was no coincidence. Ferrari analyzed preseason data and confirmed that its car suffers more wear than McLaren's, particularly under high thermal load conditions. In testing, the SF25 showed 12% more degradation than Piastri's MCL39. Against this, the only viable defense is to have strategic margin. Frédéric Vasseur, in a measured but direct tone, revealed that this additional set of resources is their strongest suit. It's not a question of when they will use it, but how they will get the others to do so first. Because if Ferrari gets McLaren or Mercedes to pit earlier, it will open a window to execute an overcut or even a double stop with an advantage. But the true value of this strategy lies not only in the tire but in the timing. Extending the first leg of the race with controlled pace could allow Leclerc to have fresher tires in the decisive section. A moment where even minimal pace differences are amplified by fatigue and traffic. However, there is no room for error. The key will be thermal management. Ferrari needs to keep temperatures under control in the first stint, prevent the tires from overheating, and protect them in the traction corners. If they succeed, they will arrive at the second and third stints with more resources than their rivals. And there is an additional factor not shown in the data sheets: track position. Leclerc will start second, with a clear track heading into turn 1. If he takes the lead from the start, he will be able to manage the pace and control the race from the front, forcing Piastri to react, not lead. All of this makes Ferrari's strategy in Bahrain a high-speed chess game. They are not looking for a victory based on pure pace. They are building a possibility. An opportunity based on tactical precision, tire reading, and anticipating rival moves. The question isn't whether they have the car to win. The question is whether they'll know how to move the right parts at the right time. Charles Leclerc isn't just playing for a good race in Bahrain. What's at stake in this first Grand Prix of 2025 goes far beyond a podium finish or important championship points. Leclerc is facing one of the most decisive events of his recent career, and every millimeter he covers on that main straight will be a statement of intent. The context couldn't be more delicate. Ferrari has spent years oscillating between frustration and unfulfilled promises. During that time, Leclerc has been the visible face of hope, the symbol of a generation that dreams of seeing the prancing horse back at the top. But that hope has an expiration date if it doesn't translate into results soon. And this year there's pressure from all fronts. Internally, the team has invested heavily in the SF25. Investments have been made in aerodynamic development, simulators, and a complete reorganization of the technical approach. All of this on paper is built for Leclerc. If the car works, there will be no excuses. If the car fails, doubts will soon turn toward him as well. Externally, the situation is no less tense. Carlos Sainz is leaving the team, opening the door to a new internal dynamic. Ferrari needs Leclerc to assume absolute leadership. But leading Ferrari isn't just about setting fast laps. It's about resisting media pressure, managing complex races, and proving that you can win even when conditions aren't ideal. And then there's the grid. Leclerc starts second. He has a clear track heading into turn 1. If he gets off to a good start, he can take the lead and set the pace for the race. If he fails in the opening few meters, he'll be exposed not only to Piastri, but to an avalanche of rivals like Russell, Gasly, and even Verstappen, who will start from 7th with a knife between his teeth. Beyond the stats, what's at stake in Bahrain for Leclerc is something intangible but essential. His status. His reputation as a top driver. His ability to turn potential into victory. Because if, after years of promise, Ferrari finally delivers him a competitive car and he doesn't translate it into results, the buzz around him will soon explode. And that not only affects his immediate future with Ferrari, but also his image within the paddock. In an increasingly turbulent driver market, where names like Norris, Antonelli, and even Colapinto are starting to be heard, the time to convince isn't eternal. Therefore, the Bahrain race is much more than an opportunity to score points. It's a trial by fire. One of those that separates good drivers from true champions. And Leclerc knows it. The 2025 Bahrain Grand Prix isn't simply the opening race of the season. It's the stage that will determine whether Ferrari is ready to re-emerge or whether it will remain trapped in the eternal cycle of broken promises. For the first time in a long time, these aren't rumors or unfounded hopes. There is data, there is pace, and there is a real opportunity. The unexpected grid adjustment following the Mercedes penalties has created a lineup that strategically favors Ferrari. Charles Leclerc will start from second place, with clear air heading into the first corner. McLaren, despite its superior top speed, is exposed. And Mercedes, with drivers out of position, will have to deal with traffic and chaos at the start. Ferrari, for its part, arrives with a clear roadmap, a more stable car, a smart tire strategy, and a driver who, despite everything, still believes he can take the prancing horse back to the top. The SF25 has proven to be close to the leading pace, at least in qualifying. If thermal management remains under control, the team has room to fight even for the win. But that doesn't guarantee anything. Threats are around every corner of the track. McLaren has the traction, Mercedes has the tactical experience, and Red Bull, although far from its dominant form, remains a force in the race. Any miscalculation, any mistake in the pits or mechanical failure can undo months of work. And that's the essence of the moment. Ferrari doesn't need miracles. It needs to execute. Because everything that's in their favor right now can disappear in a single lap if there's no precision, no composure, no hunger for victory. The race in Bahrain will be the first major test of the year, but it could also be the start of a completely new narrative. One that places Ferrari where its history demands it be. In the fight. At the top. On the podium. They're one step away. One corner away. A well-executed strategy away from changing the course of an era. Now the question is no longer whether they can. The real question is whether they will.